Ainsley says, how do we continue so positive? Ukraine war, global climate crisis, floods, political shit, inflation out of control, general cost of living, work, mother, wife, cleaner, cook. Just feel like it's hard to keep going with a smile. Oh, I get it. Oof, I know. Ashley says, think it's the depletedness from all the conditionings too. Just need to resolve it, but thanks for the wise words. Journaling, yes. Alright. So Ainsley, yeah. I have that same feeling almost every day or every few days. So, if you ever saw The Matrix, there is a part where they speak about the simulation of life or whatever. They speak about life in a way that, like, the first Matrix ever created was a perfect utopian system where everyone got whatever they wanted and everyone was happy all the time. And it was said that such a system didn't work, like they say, entire crops of people, because the Matrix in the movie is like this simulation to harvest energy from humans who are like in a VR. I think everyone saw the Matrix until now. So anyway, it's like it was created as a perfect system and it didn't work. And it didn't work because even though they have given people inside of the simulation apparently all the beautiful things, people started like rebelling against it and just committing suicides or whatever. I don't know how they explain it, but it was because of lack of free will. And the point is that there's always going to be duality in this world, because otherwise you wouldn't value anything. So in that terminology of the Matrix, they said that even though you gave the people all the best things they could ever have, so in the perfect Matrix, there was no war, there was no climate crisis, there was no inflation, no political bullshit, no flooding. Everyone was happy, and people couldn't handle it. Because on a basic level, there was no choice. There was no choice to choose to be happy, or there was no choice to choose love over war, or peace over war, or positivity over negativity, because there wasn't the other side. The only way you choose love is if you know what the opposite is. You can only be brave if there is a situation where you feel fear. If there was no fear as an emotion, as a state of being, nobody would have the possibility to be brave. Courage wouldn't exist, because you wouldn't have to fear anything. So in that case, it's like the Matrix was a failure until people were in that simulation. They were given a choice at any point to kill themselves or live in harmony, to kill each other or share love. And on a fundamental level, that's free will. And you can't include some things into free will and some things not. So for example, I have the free will to like break my laptop in half at any point. But then I won't be able to go to lives. I won't be able to do graphic design or whatever. I have the capacity to not let my partner sleep every single night. Like, she falls asleep and I tickle her toes all the time. I have free will to do that. I can do that. Also, somebody that has immense military power always has free will to invade another country. Or inflation. People that have a lot of money always have the free will to either share that money with other people that are poor, or try to force inflation and political bullshit to amass more money. So as you look at life, life is, as we spoke about maybe on the last live, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life is to experience. The meaning of life is to try out what is available, to choose whatever is available, and you need to have a choice in order to make the choice. If the choice is not offered to you, then the possibility of choice is redundant. It loses its purpose. So in a sense, if everything was love, and if everything was easy, you would never appreciate the beautiful things. Everything would be like furniture, like background noise. We need these contrasts. Every time there is war, you can choose to focus on that, or you can choose to, what is it giving? Like anytime I go to, when I see that like certain situations in the world are deteriorating, lockdowns, wars, famine, people in Africa starving, there's always some bullshit. Like you say, Ukrainian war. Ukrainian war is only blown out of proportion on the news, but there's all the time bombings in some parts of the world, but you never hear about it. You just never hear about it because it's not media covered. Who knows what in the world, like the Ukrainian war is all over the news, but how many news outlets are reporting on the Shanghai lockdown, where 25 million people can't leave their homes and are like basically starving? So there's always bullshit in the world. There's always like you say also climate crisis. Like climate crisis has been around since I was born, since the 90s. Oh my god, global warming, climate crisis. It's always there. The ice caps are melting. Oh my god. Inflation has been going on since the 90s. Now it's blown out of proportion because like supposedly the Ukrainian war is responsible for the inflation all over the world, and nah, it's all money. It's all a big circus. It's all Hollywood, if you think about it. Like Ukrainian war, oh my god, now we have to send tanks and guns and whatever, and it's all about money. It's all about yeah. So I don't want to get into specific things that are going on in the world, but it was always like, now it's COVID. Before COVID it was SARS. Before SARS it was cow disease. Before cow disease it was chicken disease. Before that it was AIDS. Before that it was the plague. Before that it was, I don't know, now it's COVID, and then it's COVID number 2, and then it's Omicron, and then it's Delta, and then it's I don't know, Omicron Pokemon, and then Omicron COVID Digimon, and then COVID I don't know, pick a word, I don't know. It's always gonna be something. It's always gonna be something, and it's there to give you a choice. Do you want to look at that, or do you want to look at your kids? Do you want to look at the news, or you want to go and work out? And yeah, inflation. Okay, that's another thing. So some things you can focus on and not focus on, and then there are some things, like you say, like inflation, increasing. What do you say? Okay, Ukraine war. You know about the Ukraine war only as much as the news tells you, and news is always blown out of proportion. Like 90% of it is just hot air and fear. Global climate crisis, like I've told you, it's been going on for ages. Floods, if it's floods, you can't really do anything about it. If it's not man-made, there's always floods, there's always earthquakes. Political shit is just political shit. Inflation out of control, general cost of living increasing. That is true. That is true. That the prices are higher. So for me as an entrepreneur, when inflation goes out of control, I have to increase my prices as well. That's one of the things. Other things is, the more that the cost of living is higher, the more that I'm thinking of moving from a first world country like Sweden to something like Thailand, or maybe back to Croatia where it's not so much. So I'm just thinking of moving to cheaper places, and I'm thinking of reducing things that I need in my life. So if the cost of living is increasing, that means I'm going to movies less, I'm shopping not in supermarkets but on farmers markets, I am focusing more on my body, I buy less clothing, I fast more, meaning I'm teaching my body to function on less food. I focus on things that I already have, so I use things that I already have, not thinking of buying more. Thinking about the future, maybe trying to learn maybe how I can grow some, I don't know, tomatoes in a jar or whatever. But I understand. So instead of more work and trying to amass more money, which is gonna burn you out in the long run, think of as if the inflation goes on, how can you maybe connect in the community to get cheaper things? And also, instead of working more, what can you do to need less? How can you change your lifestyle where you don't need to work more, but in fact, for the same amount of work, how can you shift your priorities to needing less? Okay, for example, you are the worker, the wife, the cleaner, and the cook. So can you maybe work less and then give more attention to your body and rest? And would your family still survive if you made some sacrifices that are maybe luxuries?